You don't really know much about Halloween.
Hello and welcome back to another unboxing. I am your host Joel. I am one half of the Newlydeads. If you would like to know more about us, go to thenewlydeads.com where you can check out our blogs, our podcasts that we do, our show that we have available on 4 different networks called Dollar Store Drive-In, where we locate a film that's under $5. It's usually horror, thriller, sci-fi that we pick up at like a Dollar Tree, Dollar General, wherever they sell movies that meet our criteria. We will find them. We will watch them and we will talk about them. So check it out on that channel. Also, I'm currently in the middle of a project of taking all of the original episodes that aired that are not in like a rerun situation and putting them on our YouTube channel 1 week at a time. So every Friday, there's a new episode that comes out of the original run of the series. We are currently getting close to our 100th episode, which we're doing something kind of special for that. More to come. And, oops, I kicked the stand. Sorry about that. And, we're currently up to episode 10 on the YouTube channel for all the back episodes. So if you've not seen those before or you'd like to see them again, they are there for as long as you want them to be there. You can also check out our Sinister Snack videos, follow us around, other unboxing, and a lot of other content. We are constantly doing things out there. We're also artists. We do pop-up markets and things like that occasionally as well. So look for that. And if you would like to reach us, either head over to our Facebook page, or you can reach us at contact@thenewlydeads.com. And also, I rarely ask this, but please like, subscribe, share. My goal for this year, one of them is to kind of grow the channel a little bit more, be a little bit more proactive. I'm typically pretty hands-off. I do this because I enjoy doing it, and I like sharing physical media and movies, television, things that I love with the general public. And so, you know, it'd also be nice to kind of get that a little bigger. Not looking to monetize or anything like that. I'm just looking to kind of stretch our reach out a bit more. We have a lot of friends out there that we do collaborations with and things like that. And it's just such a great community. I've been very happy to be a part of it. So anyway, feel free. If not, that's cool too. I'm just happy to have you. So for this episode, I have one thing to show you, and it's going to take a while. So if you haven't had a snack, or you need to go to the bathroom, you know, pause the video, go do that, come back, and trust me, you're going to be here a while.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
So if you have seen my prior unboxing videos, I got a set a while back called All the Haunts Be Ours, which was volume 1 of the folk horror compendium that was put out by Severin Films. And so incidentally, part 2 happened. If you can't figure that out, I was trying to remember here. I didn't write their name down, but I'll put it up here, the person that this is their passion project. And I apologize. I should have done that ahead of time. I've got everything about the films here, but I forgot to do that one thing, and I don't want to mispronounce their name. So I'll just put it here so you can see. Anyway, this is volume 2. It's a big, bad, beautiful set. It's actually about the same size as the original one. And we'll get into the contents here in just a moment, but it is just heavy and super well done again. This just came out. I got this maybe a month ago, along with something else that we'll talk about in another video that didn't really go with this. But here, let's just dig into it, and then I'll kind of go through the movies one by one. So first of all, we have this little booklet that goes with this for volume 2. And I'm going to be kind of picky about what I show you on the inside because I've looked through this, but I don't remember what's what. But this gives you, if there's, a little bit of a breakdown of kind of each one of the films that's within the set. So, if you just kind of want a quick read along and you don't want to do your own research, this gives you a nice little kind of booklet to give you a rundown of what's happening. This is kind of the coolest little feature about this that I've seen in a couple of things that I've gotten recently, like the Blair Witch set that I just did a video on. It's a hardcover book that goes with this. Now, this is actually a storybook. It's not about the films. It is a separate storybook of folk horror stories. So it's literally a, hardcover, small bound book with artwork, and I believe it's like 400 pages or something like that, 300 pages, 250-ish. So, all right, I was a little bit overzealous in terms of how big it is, but it is just, it's got cool artwork, and I haven't read any of the stories yet, but I just know how much of a passion project this is, and so I can't imagine that it's not going to be something worthwhile. So this was just a nice little addition to an already really cool set. So this is one of the things that, either you love it or you hate it, but you can only do so much when you have certain types of things. So I know a lot of people, including myself, is not a huge fan of the slipcase sleeves. I don't know what you want to call them, but in a set this size, you have to kind of make concessions. So each one of these gives you, an image, of the film, some little bit of information, and you just slide the disc out, put it in your Blu-ray player of choice, and Bob's your uncle. Off you go. So in this set, I want to say, as I'm kind of scrolling, that there are 24 films, if I remember correctly, which is a lot. And I haven't watched any of them yet. But I am anxious to dig into it. My wife, Laura, who, if you are familiar with the Newlydeads, know who she is. She is a big fan of folk horror, is one of her jams, so to speak. So I know she is excited to dig into this, and eventually we'll get around to it. But there is a lot of stuff that is currently on back order, so to speak, in terms of we just haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So eventually we'll get to it. I unfortunately can't have this in frame because I don't know where to put it exactly. I'm not going to put it behind me because I don't know. I guess it could technically go here, but it's probably going to fall. I'm going to just put it back here. All right, so we're going to go through all the films as I do, as is tradition on the show, and we'll give you a little bit of information about them. If, like I said, if you need to take a break, now's the time. All right, and go. First one we have is To Catch a Fire from 2023. This is directed by Sean Hogan, who did a film called Lie Still. It stars Mark Carlyle, who was in Psychotic. Didn't have any trivia about this, but it takes place in 17th century England, and where a group of men gather to carry a coffin on the long walk to the local graveyard for burial. Much ancient folklore and superstition surround the pathway to the church, and several of the party are afraid to walk after dark. Squire Marlowe, the grieving father of the dead man, promises to double their wages if they agree to make the mysterious journey full of unexpected revelations. So that is kind of your typical folk horror kind of storyline right there. The second one, which is, I've actually seen this film. We actually did a show on it for Dollar Store Drive-In. Psychomania, aka The Death Wheelers from 1973. I don't know that I considered this a folk horror in my brain, but kind of putting it into context, I get it. So this is about an amiable, psychopathic leader of a violent teen motorbike gang who is spurred by his mother, a Satan-worshipping spiritual medium, into committing suicide when returning to life as the undead, which the scene where he comes back from the dead is chef's kiss, phenomenal. So this is directed by Don Sharp, who did To the Devil a Daughter. Stars George Sanders, who was in Rebecca and The Picture of Dorian Gray. A little bit of trivia. During a BBC interview, Nicky Henson said that he always thought the film was terrible and only decided to be in it because he thought no one would ever see it. He was surprised to find himself being interviewed about it 40 years later. Go figure. Once you put something out there, it's out there forever, kids. Good lesson to remember. The next up, we have The Enchanted from 1984. So sailor Royce Hagen returns from the sea and occupies his deserted family ranch in a remote part of backwoods Florida. A strange family is living in the woods on his property. A Florida folk mystery hangs over the ranch. It's a lot of disconnected sentences. I kind of get what they're saying, but it's a little jumbled. This is directed by Carter Lord, who did Lithium Springs, and stars Julius Harris, who was in King Kong 1976. If I remember that one. Live and Let Die, which is on the shelf. The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, which I have seen the original and the remake. And Darkman, which I have the DVD, but not the Blu-ray yet. No specific trivia about this one. So next up, we have Who Fears the Devil, a.k.a. The Legend of Hillbilly John from 1972. This plot is a wandering ballad singer in the Appalachian meets an ugly bird-type creature and is transported back in time where he finds himself involved in the devil's work. Happened to me last Tuesday. So this is directed by John Newland, who did The Suicide's Wife. It stars Severin Darden, that's an appropriate name, who was in Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, which is my favorite of the original series. Battle for the Planet of the Apes, which was probably the least of the original ones. Real Genius, which if you're a kid from the 80s, you've probably seen it. And Saturday the 14th, which if you're a kid from the 80s, you may have seen that. A little bit of trivia, the title song, The Devil, is sung by none other than Hoyt Axton. So then we've got The White Reindeer from 1952. I'm interested in this one. A newlywed woman goes to a local shaman to get some help with her love life, but instead she gets turned into a white reindeer vampire. I know, right? Sounds interesting. This is directed by Eric Blomberg, who did The Bachelor Brothers, and stars Mirjami Kuosmanen, who was in Puck. I butchered that name probably. A little bit of trivia here. The first film from Finland to compete in the prestigious Cannes Film Festival. It's also the only Finnish film to win a Golden Globe. Cool, right? Who would have thought? Edge of the Knife is the next one on the list here from 2018. When a man accidentally causes the death of his son and of his best friend, the man is racked by grief and runs into the woods. Off he goes. This is directed by Guy Edenshaw, who did this film and some short movies. It is also directed by Helen Haig Brown, who did that film as well as some short films and music videos, and My Legacy, which I don't remember what My Legacy is, but I'll slap it up here. I can't remember. I wrote these notes a while ago. This stars Willie Russ. This is his only credit. This is the first feature film to be made entirely in the Haida language of Pacific Coast, Canada. The story was inspired by a traditional Haida legend. Again, who finds this stuff? It's why I love this. It's so cool. I'm excited. Born of Fire is the next one from 1987. A musician searches for the master flautist, a supernatural creature who is planning to blow up the world. Whoa, okay, that took a weird turn. This is directed by James DeLavi, who did Infinite Justice. And it stars Peter Firth from MI5, the movie, and the TV show as well, which they recently did another MI5 with, was it Kit Harington? I think there was a movie. I don't remember. I'll have to look that up. No specific trivia on this. Now, this next one is one that caught my attention. It's called Io Island, aka or EIOH Island, but it's just the letters IO, capital letters, from 1977. So an investigator planning on developing a tourist resort begins an investigation into the legends of the mysterious Io Island in the hope of exploiting its unspoiled beauty. So this stars it's directed by Kim Ki-young, who did Insect Woman, and stars Huai-shi Lee, who was in Love of Blood Relations. So a little bit of trivia here. This is one of Bong Joon-ho's, who did, in case you don't know, Parasite, The Host, Mother. It's one of his favorite movies, and director Kim Ki-young is one of his favorite directors of all time. So it's one of his favorite films and one of his favorite directors. So those two things alone make me curious. Next up, we have Scales from 2019. So this is a lot. Let's just say it's a dystopian story who there is a brutal custom of giving herself to the sea creatures or finding a way to escape. So it sounds like a kind of sacrificial storyline. So this is directed by Shahad Armin, who did this and some short films. The only reason I'm not reading this is it's like a huge paragraph, and I don't want to take all your time today. This stars Ashraf Barham, who was in Clash of the Titans from 2010. And I do recommend you look up the plot and read the whole thing, because I guarantee you're going to be interested in seeing it. So this was an official official submission of Saudi Arabia for the Best International Feature Film category of the 93rd Academy Awards in 2021. Next up, we have Bakenkiko, A Vengeful Spirit. Wow, I can't talk. From 1968. So a vassal kills his lord and his wife with her cat. Wait, let me start over. A vassal kills his lord and his wife with her cat commit suicide to avoid marrying him. Will they return and try to get revenge? Question mark. Whoever wrote that needs to learn how to structure a sentence a little better. So this is directed by Yoshihiro Ishikawa, who did lots of stuff I've not heard of, so things to learn about, and stars Ryohei Uchida, who was in 13 Assassins. No specific trivia about this one. Next up, we have Nang Nak, which is from 1999. The plot of this is Mak goes home from war and lives together with his wife and baby happily until a friend decides to reveal a secret. Sounds kind of like a drama. This was directed by Nanzi Nimebuter, who did OK Betang, and stars Inthira Cheroenpura, who did Nak Prak. Trivia about this, the film is based on an old Thai ghost story. Director Nanzi toured Thai temples conducting ceremonies to appease Nang Nak's spirit and obtain good luck for the film. Probably a good idea. Next up we have Sundu Bolong. Yeah, from 1981. I had to make sure I was seeing that right. That's right. So this is about a Javanese prostitute ghost from Indonesian mythology that is a vengeful spirit looking to haunt some high school students. Sounds right up my alley. So this is directed by Siswaro Gautama Putra, who did Santet 1 and 2, which is literally right here on the shelf. You can see it. This stars Susanna, who was also in Santet 1 and 2. So some trivia. This was remade as Susanna Buried Alive in 2018. However, Susanna was only in the film via archival footage. So speaking of Susanna, we have Susanna, the Queen of Black Magic from 2024. So this is long, but I think this one I'm going to go ahead and read. So she starred in 42 classic movies, was hailed as the Queen of Indonesian horror, and crowned Asia's most popular actress. But who was Susanna Martha Frederick von Osch? Long beloved by the Asian world as Susanna, yet virtually unknown outside of it. Through exclusive interviews with family, colleagues, filmmakers, and historians, as well as clips from her classic films, director David Gregory, who did Enter the Clones of Bruce Lee, unearths the legacy of the Scream Queen, who has begun to emerge as one of the most compelling icons in cinema history. I love a good documentary. So David Gregory has 242 directorial credits. The guy's on fire. Stars Susanna, who was in Birth in the Grave, which we just talked about her. And yeah, so moving on to Beauty and the Beast from 1978. So in this gothic rendition of the classic fairy tale, a merchant's youngest daughter is held prisoner by a mysterious winged beast. So this was directed by Juraj Hers, who did a lot of Czechoslovakian films, which more to learn about, and stars Dina Studenkova, who's done a lot of Czechoslovakian films as well, that I need to learn about. So the beast looks like a bird in this version, which is an interesting twist for those of you who grew up of a certain age that saw the Disney film or the remake or any number of the live-action versions that have been out there, including the TV show with Ron Perlman. So then we've got The Ninth Heart from 1979. A poor student must rescue an ailing princess from the castle of an evil magician who's preparing a rejuvenating elixir from the stolen hearts of 9 children. So this is directed by Juraj Hers again, and stars Andrzej Pawelka. Same thing, lots of Czechoslovakian films to learn about. And we've got Demon from 2015. A bridegroom is possessed by an unquiet spirit in the midst of his own wedding celebration, in this clever take on the Jewish legend of the Dybbuk, which you've probably heard of the Dybbuk, but maybe you didn't know what the Dybbuk was. This is directed by Marcin Rana, who did The Christening, and stars Ite Tehran, who was in The Pursuit of unhappiness. A little bit of trivia here. Director Marson died by suicide in his hotel room on September 19, 2015 during the Gdynia Polish Film Festival, where Demon was shown in competition. That's horrible. I think that was the only trivia I had for this film. And so, wow, that's awful. They live on through their film. Moving on to November from 2017. Wow, that's a hard transition. Sorry about that. In this film, a poor Estonian village, a group of peasants use magic and folk remedies to survive the winter, and a young woman tries to get a young man to love her. This is directed by Rainier Sarnet, who did The Idiot, and stars Rhea Lest, who was in Azrael. So a little bit of trivia here. Estonia's submission to the Foreign Language Film Award of the 90th Academy Awards, which would have been, I guess, 2020. Then we've got Latan from 1982. So Nora and Jacques arrive in the strange village of Latan during the Festival of the Dead. It's directed by Jean-Pierre Mucky, who did Kill the Referee, and stars Marie-José Nat, who was in Secret Professional, which sounds interesting. Moving on to Blood Tea and Red String. This is from 2006. A handmade stop-motion fairy tale for adults that tells a tale of the struggle between the aristocratic white mice and the rustic creatures who dwell under the oak over the doll of their heart's desire. It's directed by Christine Segavsky, who's only done shorts, and it's all animated, so there's no specific stars that were listed. This was released in February 2nd, 2006, after a production time of, get this, 13 years. 13 years. All right, moving on to Nazareno Cruz and the Wolf from 1975. So this one is about Nazareno Cruz, who is the seventh son of a couple living in a high mountain village, who, according to myth, becomes a wolf at night in front of the full moon. So this is directed by Leonardo. Really an R there? Interesting. I'm going to say Leonardo Favio, who did Gattaca the Monkey, not Gattaca the Ethan Hawke film, but Gattaca the Monkey. This stars Juan Jose Camero, who was in a lot of Argentinian films that I need to dig into. And this was the official submission of Argentina for the Best Foreign Language Film category of the 48th Academy Awards in 1976. And it also won, the wolf in the film is really just a dog with makeup. It was the 70s. Moving on to Akelarre from 1984. So in 17th century Navarre, Lord Fairman has started a witch hunt. Villagers are arrested and tortured to exact confessions. Fairman is usually using this horror to tarnish Unai, a farmer who opposes his tyrannical rule. So basically it's a revenge movie, and then using a witch hunting motif. So this is directed by Pedro Olea, who did A Man Called Autumn Flower, and stars Sylvia Munt, who has done a lot of Spanish films that I need to dig into. So this film was shot in the same places where the events that inspired it occurred. Akelarre means witches Sabbath in English. The film is about the witchcraft trials directed against the Ereitz witches in 1595. I hope I got that right. Wow, things to learn about here. Then we've got From the Old Earth from 1981. A woman has terrifying dreams after a curious stone head is unearthed in her council house garden. Studying the head, an expert in Celtic relics brings it home, only for the woman in the house to be tormented with nightmares of a half-man, half-animal creature. This is directed by Will Aaron, who did Gareth Hughes for TV, and something called Gwed R.E. Sayre. I think that looks right. Stars Lindsay Evans, who was only in this. No trivia to speak of. We're getting close to the end, kids. Hold on. The City of the Dead from 1960. So a young college student arrives in a sleepy Massachusetts town to research witchcraft. During her stay at an eerie inn, she discovers a startling secret about the town and its inhabitants. Sounds right up my alley. So this was directed by John Llewellyn Moxey, who did lots and lots and lots and lots of TV, and stars Patricia Jessel, who was in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, which, if you're a person of a certain age, you've probably seen that movie. So a part of the line spoken by Christopher Lee, fear, superstition, and jealousy, is used in the beginning of Rob Zombie's most famous song, well, that's debatable, Dragula, originally written as a pilot for a horror television series intended to star Boris Karloff that never got made. Last one, kids. We are here. You made it. Good job. So this is The Rights of May, aka Itum, from 1976. So during a return to his provincial home, a young man gets involved with a woman who is ultimately possessed by her sister's spirit, paving the way to revealing the painful truth about her unsolved disappearance. This is directed by Mike DeLeon, who did Citizen Jake. Stars Charo Santos Concio, who was in Dirty Affair. And just a little bit of trivia here. The mysterious man June walks in on praying early in the film is known by fans as Mr. Itum. This is due to his mysterious recurrence throughout the film and his propensity to say the film's title repeatedly throughout his prayer. I have to wait to see that to really grasp that in full. So there you have it, kids. This is a big box. I would recommend 1 and 2 if you can get your hands on them. They are just phenomenal. The box set last year won some awards as being one of the best, or the best boutique Blu-ray release. It was 2 years ago, I guess now. Maybe. I can't, I'll put it up here. So I have no doubt that this one's going to be in the running again. So check it out. Again, like, subscribe, share, and yeah, so I guess that's it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget that tomorrow is not guaranteed. So please remember to unbox your heart. See you next time.
Should be done, you see, between the real and the unreal. The dead might be looking in. Halloween, the festival of Samhain. Happy Halloween.